All right, let's go.
Now to that remarkable scene at the White House just a short time ago. Elon Musk standing in the Oval Office, President Trump sitting behind the Resolute desk. And it was Elon Musk who held court for more than a half an hour. How Musk describes what it is the Trump White House is doing, defending his access to at least 15 government agencies and counting. Elon Musk was asked if he's being transparent, if he's policing himself, and if there's a conflict of interest, given Musk's own company has contracts with the Pentagon. Our Rachel Scott asking many of the questions.
Tonight, an extraordinary scene playing out in the Oval Office. President Trump sitting at the Resolute desk, and standing next to him, Elon Musk and his young son, holding court for roughly a half an hour.
I love how his son is the best dressed there.
Your detractors, Mr. Musk.
I have to what?
Including a lot of Democrats.
I have detractors?
You do, sir.
I don't believe it.
Say that you're orchestrating a hostile takeover of government and doing it in a non-transparent way. What's your response to that criticism?
A hostile takeover of the government, and you're doing it in a non-transparent way. All right. So far, the energy from what I see here is Elon Musk is in a joking, charismatic sort of mood. You know what I mean? Like he's just trying to be chill. And the media is on edge just based off that question of and there's a lot of fear based off of what they think he may do. I'm wondering if I'm going to hear any questions in this particular interview about the things they have uncovered so far, all the corruption, which I think the questions that they're asking Elon Musk is fair. And I do think that, he should be vetted, of course. But I do think that what they've uncovered is a bigger story. All right. But we are talking about a lot of these news networks are the same networks that were pushing propaganda instead of reporting the news. OK, in my opinion. But we'll go ahead and continue and see how he responds here. I also think the question is silly, and I'll explain why later.
What's your response to that criticism?
Well, first of all, you couldn't ask for a stronger mandate from the public. The public voted, we have a majority of the public voting for President Trump. We've won the House, we won the Senate. The people voted for major government reform. And a lot of times that, people, they don't get what they voted for. But in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for. And that's what democracy is all about.
Musk, the world's richest.
That's a great response. That's a great response so far, because typically, we get a bunch of promises, at least in my lifetime, and a bunch of word salad, a bunch of the things, from a Barack Obama, Joe Biden, you name it. And as soon as they're in office, it's business as usual. And a lot of times, and we've been business as usual on a downward spiral. And within the first few weeks, we've seen more changes and more transparency than we've seen from any administration that I can remember. But you guys who follow politics and have been following politics from quite some time can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about this. But this is what I'm seeing so far. Let's continue.
What democracy is all about.
Musk, the world's richest man with billions of dollars in federal contracts, has been given enormous power. His Department of Government Efficiency already accessing at least 15 agencies.
Wow.
Mr. Musk, the White House says that you will identify and excuse yourself from any conflicts of interest that you may have. Does that mean that you are, in effect, policing yourself? What are the checks and balances that are in place to ensure that there is accountability and transparency?
No. Well, we actually are trying to be as transparent as possible. In fact, we post our actions to the Doge handle on X and to the Doge website. So all of our actions are maximally transparent. In fact, I don't think there's been, I don't know of a case where an organization has been more transparent than the Doge organization.
All right. If I break into your house and I steal food from your refrigerator, all right, I'm a thief. Let's say I do that, all right, hypothetically speaking. And you ask me, did you steal food from me? Would I tell you the truth? Why would you ask the person that you think has a conflict of interest or you think is hostile, a hostile takeover of government organizations? Why would you ask him that as though he's going to give you a straight answer, provided that's what you really believe? And so far, I still haven't heard anything about the things they've uncovered so far. I see that most of the attention on mainstream media is on the celebrity and not the issues. OK, That's what I noticed so far.
So, and the kind of things we're doing are, I think, very, very simple and basic. These are not individual judgment decisions. These are about simply having sensible checks and balances in the system itself to ensure that taxpayer money is spent well. So it's got nothing to do with, like, say, a contract for some company of mine at all.
But if there is a conflict of interest when it comes to you yourself, for instance, you've received billions of dollars in federal contracts when it comes to the Pentagon, for instance, which the president, I know, has directed you to look into.
Yeah.
Are you policing yourself in that? Is there any sort of accountability check and balance in place that would provide any transparency for the American people?
Okay, so in my opinion, and again, this is another thing, you can correct me if I'm wrong, these are the journalists I'm assuming are the creme de la creme. They are the top of the line journalists. They've made it to the White House. They've done their research. So they should already know the answer to this question. I think, isn't that real journalism? Because a lot of this information they can probably find out, I would assume. That's how they did it back in the old days, versus asking him. Let's say he is everything that they think he might be. Okay. Why would he tell you? Why would he tell you? Go find out. And then bring that information to the White House. Now, if she's asking for a different reason to see how he responds to these type of questions, or just to make Americans think about the question. But I do think that it's a form of lazy journalism, but that's just me, though. You guys can let me know.
All of our actions are fully public. So if you see anything, you say, like, wait a second, hey, Elon, that seems like maybe that's, there's a conflict there. It's not like people are going to be shy about saying that. They'll say it immediately.
Including you yourself.
Yes. But transparency is what builds trust, not simply somebody asserting trust. So not somebody saying they're trustworthy, but transparency, so you can see everything that's going on. And then you can see, am I doing something that benefits one of my companies or not? It's totally obvious.
And if we thought that, we would not let him do that segment or look in that area if we thought there was a lack of transparency or a conflict of interest.
But I followed up.
Yeah, because with Trump, he'd be fired,
Interest.
But I followed up.
If you have received billions of dollars in contracts from the Pentagon, and the president's directing you to look into the Department of Defense, is that
which we
a
definitely need
conflict
to
of
do
interest?
and are going to do at the president's request.
Does that present a conflict of interest for you?
No, because you'd have to look at the individual contract and say, first of all, I'm not the one, filing the contract. It's people at SpaceX.
Musk and Trump have complained several of their plans are stalled in the courts, raising concerns the administration may defy a judge's orders. Today, the president told me that won't happen.
If a judge does block one of your policies, part of your agenda, will you abide by that ruling? Will you comply with that order?
I'll abide by the courts, and then I'll have to appeal it. But then what he's done is he slowed down the momentum.
As Musk's team tears through...
How does Trump get better hair as he gets older?
The president told me that won't happen.
If a judge does block one of your policies, part of your agenda, will you abide by that ruling? Will you comply with that order?
I'll abide by the courts, and then I'll have to appeal it. But then what he's done is he slowed down the momentum.
As Musk's team tears through government agencies, Musk today acknowledging he has sometimes posted misinformation about their findings.
Well, first of all,
he has sometimes posted misinformation. That's a interesting way to word things. Has he been incorrect about things, or has he posted misinformation? Now, I will say, when you have as much influence as Elon Musk does, you have to be careful what you put on social media and what you put online, even if it's just your thoughts at that given moment. But the misinformation, or versus being incorrect about something, misinformation, when I hear that word, I think that someone's doing something intentionally to push a specific narrative that's not true. So that's how I see it. Again, I don't know.
Some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes.
And David, there in the Oval Office, it was clear just how powerful Elon Musk is in this White House. And tonight we're learning he is about to be even more powerful. The president signing an executive order that directs all federal agencies to work with Musk and his team to cut staffing and limit hiring. It also gives Musk the broad authority to decide which positions in this federal workforce should or should not be filled, David.
All right, great.
All right. So Trump is doing something I would do, and I'm just a high school dropout. All right. I didn't follow politics, and a lot of this is new to me. I'm learning as I go. but I'm smart enough to hire people that I think can do the job a lot better than I can do it. All right. Versus I'd be more in fear if Trump was the one handling everything. You know, you put the people that you can trust, and there's no bigger person that helped Trump get in office than Elon Musk. So of course he trusts the guy. All right. He helped him. But yeah, this is interesting. You guys let me know. What do you think in the comments section? I'm always open to enlightenment for you guys to educate me on where you think I may be wrong, or if you agree with me. Like the video if you like this type of content and want to see more of it on the channel. And I appreciate you guys for watching. Peace.